Mabuhay, Philippines!
We are Jinjer, Tati and Eugene, and Live Loud!
Welcome to the Philippines. Thank you for giving us the time for this. First question is, how have you guys been? We know you've been prepping for this tour, but before this, embarking on this tour, what was keeping you busy? Where was your frame of mind?
We actually didn't have almost any preparation for this tour. We had just some time off after the last tour. We did the tour in Latin America and finished right before Christmas. Then we flew to the States to play on a cruise. Then a couple of weeks off, and here we are. So basically we were trying to have some rest because last year we had 4 tours in a row and got really tired by the end of the year. So just some time off before this tour.
All right, cool. Well, you recently released your full-length album, DUÉL. Sounds great. I was listening to it ever since it was released. What can you tell us about the record now that it's been unleashed to the world? Like, what were the memorable things, memorable themes? Was it hard putting it together compared to your other releases?
People romanticize recording albums, you know, as we are having so many, like, fairy tale or something, you know. It's not. It's a very hard working process. The only memorable thing for me is that I managed to write lyrics. I managed to finish lyrics, I guess, in a week, which is super good for me, because usually it takes months.
A week sounds like fairly fast. Do you think you're getting the rhythm because of the experience in the past and whatever? Would you say that you have a shorthand of what to do when it's time to record an album?
I just wanted to be on time, you know, and not procrastinate as I do usually. So set my goals, just not to be nervous already recording songs, you know. Because, you know, it's a hard process for me, so I don't like time limits.
Generally at this time we just had way more time to structure everything and not to be really in rush like we always were in the past. And this album actually took the longest to make, like 3 years almost in production. Little by little, slowly, just like we were not hasting it, we were not rushing it by any means. In terms of just vocals and lyrics, I think everything was very different this time, like very different compared to our previous albums. Because she was done with the lyrics, we had an opportunity to make demos with vocals before we actually go and record final songs.
Give us an insight, like, on how you put like songs together, because again, the music of Jinjer it's not straightforward stuff. There's a lot of twists and turns. You incorporate a lot of stuff. Like, where do you usually start?
Most of the songs were written by Vlad, so he just brings a sketch. Then we all together start, you know, working on it, just music-wise. We're making arrangements on bass guitar. Roman is changing something, even though Vlad writes the guitar parts for him, but he changes it in his own way. So then we even play it live, adjust one piece to another. And then we make a demo, first demo, then second demo, then change again and again. There are some songs on this record which were changed, like me personally, I was re-recording bass lines for 5 times.
So it can get pretty tedious, the process.
It can, yeah. But we are pretty tedious and, you know, quite picky and very, very much focused on details. I can say that this is an album where each single note is like well thought.
So how did you get the ball rolling? Like you said, you mentioned it took like 3 years to, like, what was the song? What was that moment when you realized that, okay, let's start work on it?
We do not sit in a room and do not say like, okay, let's start. Ideas just keep coming. Vlad, for example, he writes music all the time. Just whenever he has free time, he writes something. Roman and me, we are more like dependent on inspiration, but it just keeps coming. We just keep collecting it, and we present it to each other, and the job never stops. The work never stops. I think after we're done with the tour and we have some free time, something may come up too. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Were there certain themes and ideas that you wanted to incorporate? I know a lot of the songs on Duo, reading through the lyrics and listening to them, that they do carry like a specific message. What was there a theme during the beginning of the album, or was this, as he described, was it just coming like through inspiration and whatever?
I guess there was a theme, and it's basically like inner conflict or inner struggle where you fight your own self, basically. And the whole thing was inspired by the act of duel, which really fascinates me a lot. And I really like that it's very like daredevilish to me, basically like a Russian roulette, you know, playing with death itself. So yeah, and so the winner, the stronger, survives in this fight.
When it came to like laying down tracks, the actual process, what did you want to do different, sound-wise and the process-wise with this album that you hadn't done before?
Well, the sound is really different from everything else we did before, but the main rule we have is not like repeating ourselves. So we always want to evolve, always want to bring something new to the table, because we first of all make music for the sake of our own, and making one and the same thing will be really boring. So we try to evolve, and we were looking for new sound on this record. This time everything is slightly different because we originally found the sound for the guitar and build everything else on top of the guitars. And I think it's quite prominent on the record because this is probably the strongest sound of the guitars we ever had. And by the time we were recording, we already knew how this record should sound. And then we all have Max Morton, our sound producer. As always, he understands us 100% or even better than we ourselves understand each other. So he just takes what we give him and makes it even better.
Out of the gates, my personal favorite is the opener, Tantrum. I just loved how it charges through. It's such a track one. What can you tell us about Tantrum and maybe one or two other songs on the album? Like, do you have like current favorites that you're like especially proud of putting together?
So the lyrics were inspired by the balls, like you know, the dance stuff.
Event.
Yeah, the event. And the amount of rules that people had to follow that time. So it was very, you know, very restricted in like in the physically and emotionally and in terms of behavior. So it's almost like army, like soldiers, like military. And so the whole song is about breaking those rules and appearing in this kind of event, being yourself, like being absolutely like raw. Wearing whatever you want, for example. Imagine yourself like going into a time machine and like pressing a button and, hey, I want to appear in the year of 1736, for example. And there's a ball and you appear in your jeans and t-shirt there, yeah, and you just go in there like I see the ball, the event as our society, and you are a person who don't give a damn.
You've been here before. You played SummerSlam before. What are your expectations for tonight's show?
Well, first of all, it's cool to be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we in the band, we really fell in love with the Philippines when we were here for the first time, because Pulp SummerSlam was a huge event for us that time, and generally, even after 7 years, we were here 7 years ago, I still remember that event as one of the most prominent, because it had different vibe, the whole atmosphere behind the stage, the how you guys, locals, treat us, it's very different. So thank you very much. It's cool to be back. Yeah, and cool to play for our Philippine fans. Yeah, again.
Is there any?
There are.
there?
There are. Yeah.
Yeah. So we are about to see them in a few minutes.
Few minutes we're gonna have meet and greet.